Hey everyone, you're listening to the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast, the place to come if you just want some good old fashioned talk about movies. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, VS Movie Podcast. You can just go to the website, vsmoviepodcast.com. We're on Google Podcasts, we're on Apple News, we're on Stitcher, we're on Spotify. Basically, you can find us pretty much anywhere you want to listen to us. We appreciate you listening. If you want to throw us a like, follow us on any of those outlets, and share us with your friends. We'd really appreciate it. And don't forget, if the best thing you can say about a movie is that it is visually stunning, then the filmmakers have done something dreadfully wrong. Now, let's get on with the show. Hey everyone, Mark here. Welcome back to the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. With me, as almost always, is Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
Nada.
This week, Disney re-enters the non-superhero cinematic fray with...
Come on. I could see Dumbo in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He does. Well, he does wear a big D.
Yeah.
So, but yes, we're going to talk about Dumbo, Tim Burton's live-action interpretation. I won't call it a remake. I was going to call it a remake till I saw it. And I'll call it...
No.
It's an interpretation.
It's radically different.
Wow. I don't know if I'd go radically different, but it's pretty different.
I would say radically.
It's radically different in length than the original.
It's twice as long.
It's twice as long. So Dumbo, Colin Farrell, Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito.
Do you remember when Colin Farrell was like a bad boy?
I do remember when Colin Farrell. See, this is going to be a what the fuck was that?
That's right. You just heard me say that this was probably going to be a what the fuck was that excerpt, and I wasn't lying. I had to cut this part out, but it will be released as an episode of What the Fuck Was That, so stay tuned for that to show up. And now, back to the review.
Eva Green, whom you love.
I do love Eva Green. She's, yeah.
And I was shocked when Alan Arkin came across my screen.
And that was awesome.
That was awesome, and we'll get to Alan Arkin. So we have Dumbo, baby elephant, big ears.
Yeah.
Mama trying to protect him. Mama gets shipped away. Now, basically, at that point, that's what the movies have in common.
Yes.
From the original animated Disney version to the Tim Burton version.
Yes.
I may have mentioned it once or twice or 6 dozen times that I'm not a fan of Disney feeling the need to go back in and live action their older material. I don't like it, especially when a lot of it's not really live action.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I think to this point, the only one that I would really fight for is Cinderella. Because I don't know why, but I really did like Cinderella.
You like Lily James.
Well, I think Lily James is awesome, sure.
So,
but, maybe are you saying my opinion of movies is based entirely on if I like the lead actress?
I'm saying it doesn't hurt.
Hurt.
Any more than your opinion of the director, and everyone has these biases, Ryan. Don't lie. But no, I haven't seen that one.
No,
so,
that one they give her a little more backstory. That's the one that if although I think I might put Dumbo on that list for different reasons now as well. But
okay, so back to Dumbo.
Dumbo.
Like I said, I've made no bones about my hesitancy on Disney's live action. I find myself pleasantly surprised by Tim Burton's interpretation of Dumbo. Do not take that the wrong way. I was pleasantly surprised by Tim Burton's interpretation. That does not mean I think it was a good movie or a great movie.
I think it is a better movie than I was expecting it to be, but it is decidedly a family film, or really actually children's film. It's very, there's not a lot to it, quite frankly.
No, there's really not, and it's and this movie isn't really about Dumbo. This movie is about people.
It's about the family that is around Dumbo.
Right. Dumbo is a plot device.
Yes, Dumbo is he is the way to get the evil corporate entity's attention.
Okay, you know what? We're going to get back to evil corporate entities in a minute because I do want to talk about that.
And they have great hair.
Anyway. Wow. Okay, we might get to that too. So Danny DeVito in a Tim Burton film shockingly wears a top hat and fancy coat.
But he's not the ringleader. He runs the circus, but he doesn't MC. He's
right.
That's left to the let's get ready to rumble guy.
No. That's in Dreamland.
Oh,
and we'll get to that guy too. Okay, so little podunk traveling circus. Danny DeVito runs it. Buys Mama Elephant. She has Dumbo. Oh my God, what a tragedy! They figure out Dumbo can fly. Now let's go to evil.
Which is what the original film basically was.
Right.
Dumbo learning to fly, but we get that very quickly here.
We do, and of course everyone wants to see Dumbo the Flying Elephant.
Yes.
And which of course attracts the attention of V.A. Vanderveer, the man who built Dreamland. And I want to say it's near Coney Island, Atlantic City, that kind of area.
Yeah.
Is the way they imply it.
Sure.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about the evil corporation.
Yeah.
Is it me? Or did okay. Anyway, okay, you know what? This is going to be after because we're going to spoil a little bit. Who would you recommend this film to?
The little kids, for the most part.
Yes, I would agree, except for the little kids that were in my theater that were crawling all over Grandma and Grandpa and lighting up their phone.
Okay, well, they're not invited back.
They are not invited back.
It's I would say it is perhaps a little long for the audience it's going to be most appealing to, but I don't really see this as this isn't really a grown-up person's picture movie much at all.
No. If you're seeing this, you better. I mean, I saw it by myself, but if you're going to see this, you better have kids, preferably under 7.
Sure.
Ish.
Although I would have liked it. I guess it depends on your kid.
But yeah, I guess that's true too. So
I would have liked it as a 13-year-old as much. So
there's reasons for that too.
Okay.
But so that's who I'm. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, is that Eva Green?
Could be that it's Eva Green. Anyway, so yeah, that's who I'm recommending. You got to have a kid with little kid sensibilities, however old that kid is.
Yes, or I mean, if you love Disney films, and then it is a Disney film. Yeah. It's not much more to it than that.
Right. If you have a 4-year-old Sheldon Cooper, they're not going to like this film.
Well,
no.
Unless if he likes Eva Green.
Yeah. No, because Sheldon Cooper's not going to be there either.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
But okay, so that's who I'm recommending the film to. It's not a bad film. Yeah. It is better than I thought it was going to be.
And in fact, I mean, the original film, if you haven't watched it recently, is filled with a lot of racial things that probably wouldn't fly and shouldn't fly in a contemporary market or a contemporary film. And so I think considering, and the original Dumbo story that this was based on was essentially an advertisement to sell a toy. So considering the origins that they had to work with, the fact that they made a, fairly enjoyable 6 out of 10 sort of movie, I applaud them for that because I was expecting it to be more of a 4 out of 10 movie.
Yeah, it's a surprising 6 from where I was thinking it was going to be, just going in. So now, having given our recommendations, now let's go ahead and talk about this. Let's talk about the evil corporation for a second.
He's got great hair.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton scenes.
It does steal scenes. Michael Keaton's V.A. Vanderveer, the rich guy. how did Disney? And I'm gonna at the end after everything happens and Danny DeVito's running his circus again.
Sure.
And we get the beat you about the head and shoulders, using animals for entertainment as evil message.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Well, wherever you stand on it, it's clearly a beat you about the head and shoulders message, or presentation of said message. They basically said you're evil if you ever smiled and laughed at a circus with elephants.
I don't know about that.
So somehow Tim Burton managed to go whole hog with his and don't get me wrong, I love animals. He went whole hog on the anti-caged animal. He almost came out against zoos message, but he also really effectively tore down the giant corporation entertainment industry that allowed him to make this film. Am I wrong?
Tim Burton's career has always been built on the back of Disney, and there is a grand irony in that, in the sense that Tim Burton is probably one of the least Disney directors that Disney keeps hiring for some reason.
Because his films make money.
Well, some of them do.
Well, enough of them do.
Yeah, 50-50. He has a hit, he has a miss.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's Tim or the screenwriters or who that is, but yeah, there's definitely all right, I'm going to backtrack a little bit on that, because as it turns out, the evil corporation is being funded by our favorite Alan Arkin. And so Alan Arkin, and so it's kind of it's the whole thing of the showman being a sham. So the biggest sham in circuses are supposed to be magicians and freak shows and whatnot. The biggest sham in this film is not the Danny DeVito character, which is what kind of it initially sets out. It turns out to be the Michael Keaton character, because he really doesn't own anything. He's kind of I'm relying on outside people to pay for my elaborate, crazy dreams, and we're all going to make a lot of money, and it's like a pyramid scheme or something. And Alan Arkin's character is the money handler, who basically says, "No, I don't think so." Yeah, and goes and runs off into the sunset with Danny DeVito, who is, regardless of the more of the real deal, I guess.
Yeah. So he makes fun of the bankers, even though the bankers won't invest in things that don't make money.
Yes.
But he does. I mean, everything, once you get to Dreamland, which is Michael Keaton's, V.A. Vanderveer's
steampunk holiday
fucking Disneyland. It's fucking Disneyland. Or
it's Tomorrowland.
Or Jurassic Park, depending on how you look at it.
It doesn't, but and it does have the nightmare section, that's probably Tim Burton land.
Yeah, I know, right?
Tim Burton land, and yeah.
So, but then when it when it comes to a cataclysmic end, even Michael Keaton looks like Satan standing in front of that park, because his hair is now off kilter.
Yes.
So even his hair is fake. But yeah, I was amazed that Disney let a film that seemed to take such blatant shots at a Disney-esque entity go through their system.
Well, I mean,
he doesn't really pull any punches.
No, but but the question is do they care? I mean, at this point,
not if the film makes $200 million. $300 million.
If it makes any money, I mean, at this point, I mean, if we want to get really cynical, Disney films are advertising tools to get people to go to Disneyland.
Yes.
And it may have been the other way around once upon a time, where Disneyland was kind of this secondary thing. I don't know. But I think, Dumbo is $120, $150 million ad to get kids excited about Disneyland who maybe aren't excited about, Star Wars, or they're not excited about, other aspects of it. I mean, there's a lot of self-promotion that happens in Disney, and they've always been, well, I would say since the 90s, they've been really good at that. That's obviously, I mean, I'd like to think that a lot of these films are being made based purely on artistic intent. But if that was the case, we probably wouldn't be seeing them remaking all of their hits this time, with live actors in it rather than, I'm waiting for them to start doing the live action stuff as animated films. We're going to get Escape to Witch Mountain or whatever, and Parent Trap, and we're going to get the animated versions. It's going to be great.
Now, if they want to make a live action version, can they make live action Black Cauldron?
They will never do that, and that would probably be.
I would totally be down for that.
I would be too. The pig obviously would have to be animated, but the thing that one of the things that I do like about Dumbo too is that you're getting a story that has been modernized, maybe improved to a certain extent. You're not going to try, like in your head, you're never going to mix up. Was that Beauty and the Beast, and was that the animated one, or was that the live action one? Or wait a minute, they're kind of the same thing, aren't they? This at least had an independent. It felt like there was, I guess, more of a purpose to tell the story the way they told it. Because like I said, if you revisit the original Dumbo, it's pretty amazing that they're comfortable with Dumbo and not Song of the South.
And to the surprise of no one, yet again, I have to cut out a piece. Because it has nothing to do with Dumbo, really. But it's stuff that will be released as yet another episode of What the Fuck Was That? So, hang tight. You'll get this section. Sorry for the rough cut. Enjoy the review.
I would say that if Disney really wanted to market Dumbo to me, they would have just called it Eva Green on a flying elephant.
And you'd have seen it 3 times in one day.
I would have been like, I'm in.
Yeah, but that just reflects our misogyny.
I think she's a great actress.
I don't know that I've seen her, but again, I don't know her entire filmography. Although, I'll bet if I looked at it, I've probably seen a chunk of it. But I don't recall ever seeing her do anything really bad. I see a lot of people once they hit it big, I'll go back and I'll look. I'm like, oh my god, I've always liked them. I just never realized who they were. But I mean, she's obviously a little higher profile than just Dumbo. Sure. So
she's been in a lot of bad movies. I'll give her that, but she's usually been the highlight. I mean, the Sin City thing was terrible.
Oh, Sin City,
the 300 sequel. Anyway, but I do want to point out there is a scene in Dumbo, this Dumbo, that made me want a whole movie of this, and that is the essentially jailbreak scene where you have members of the freak show who are using their particular abilities.
Oh, yes.
To break someone out of prison, basically.
Yes.
And it's quick, and it was just, but one of those things where it's like these people who have been marginalized, pushed aside, they're not considered any sort of threat. They get together, they all have these unique abilities, and they do the impossible. Yeah. And I thought that I would love to see a film that was entirely that sort of stuff. And I don't know if you could actually sustain that for an entire film, but that moment in Dumbo I thought was just great.
You could do like a weekly TV series where they travel from town to town and solve problems like the A-Team.
Yeah, well, I think it probably A-Team or Scooby-Doo, or but yes, I think Scooby-Doo may be more so.
That would probably be the only way to do it, is like a weekly series.
Yeah, but the fact that you have these people who have been pushed aside and aren't considering much of anything, and they pull off a really fantastic jailbreak, and and the way they do it, I just thought was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was cleverly done, and you can kind of guess it for a minute, but it looks really good, and then you're like, oh, I got just like they got. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know how much of this you're actually going to hear at home, so I'm going to leave this disclaimer in. We've talked about big corporations, We've talked about race. We've talked about filmmaking. We've talked about we talked about Dumbo a little bit in there. I think a little bit. And we're going to tell you, if you have kids, probably the kids will enjoy it. It's a little long, depending on the age and the attention span of the child. But they'll probably enjoy it. It surprised us both how much we didn't hate it.
Yeah, well, and another thing too is it looked like a lot like Big Fish.
Yes, which I love.
But the trailers look like a Big Fish. But you watching the film, I never felt like I was seeing a rehash of Big Fish, and that was also something that I was worried about going in, and it turned out not to be true. So, hats off there.
Yeah. But it's Burton. He always brings there's always a certain joy in a Tim Burton film, and that's still even here.
Oh yeah.
No matter how weird his films are, there's always a little bit of joy. So that's it for Dumbo. We're done with Dumbo. We're gonna do some other reviews. We've got we're gonna talk about a movie that you probably won't see in your megaplex, Hotel Mumbai.
Yeah.
And then next week, the big release is Shazam.
Sure what?
Shazam, which some people have already seen because of whoever's pre-screening 3 weeks early and the reviews are out, which I've really tried to avoid. There's also Best of Enemies, which is coming out next week, and Pet Sematary is next week.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've got a Stephen King.
Yes. So
which has also gotten pretty good buzz out of South by Southwest. So
yeah, so we'll see how those goes. I think we're going to do 1, 2, and or 3 of those next week for you. Yeah. So till next time, I'm Mark. That's Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See ya.
Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.